Welcome back, everybody. I'm Mike with Omega Outdoors, and today I want to show you a video of everything I've learned so far over the last couple of years on knife maintenance and knife sharpening, so stay tuned. And the best advice I can give to start with is before learning any system, before you use any system on one of your good knives, get your old kitchen knives, get butter knives, and practice on them. Practice on something like a Mora, because you can spend a half hour, an hour easily sharpening a knife to a razor edge. And if you take something like a ceramic rod and you don't know what you're doing, and you drag it down the edge the wrong way, your edge is gone, and you pretty much did an hour worth of work for absolutely nothing. And another great thing, and this is my favorite for afterwards, is using a leather strop. And also, you got to get the right angle on those too, and you get a feel for it. After a while, you'll learn what you're doing, what works comfortable for you. And you can put a really wicked edge on something really quick after you sharpen it. But when you have good steels, all you pretty much need is a leather strop when you're done, when you come back in from the field. And what a leather strop more or less does is it cleans the edge, it re-cleans and repolishes the edge. It takes all the debris and all the gunk and resins off of your bush knives or whatever you're cutting through. It pretty much takes that all off and repolishes the edge. And I've pretty much reprofiled all my knife edges at this point to my own preference, which is a convex edge. You take a flat grind, your knife is pretty much like this, and when you make a convex edge, it's kind of round like this. And that roundness, you see one side to the other, that roundness causes your knife to literally be about 300 to 400 times stronger at the edge. And that really keeps your knife from chipping, and it keeps the edge from becoming too frail. And it holds a really nice edge, so I prefer that. Now, I progressed to a work sharp. And at first, when I first had the work sharp, for the longest time, I had used the attachment that comes with it. And I hate this attachment. It's the attachment from hell. It really slides off. It really ruined my knives. And it really, it's this piece here. It really, it scratches the hell out of the sides of the blades. When you're putting it through there, you'll get lines and streaks down a knife edge like this because of this. So I tried to fix that problem by putting slick tape on it, and it was still scarring it up. But this is good for kitchen knives or like utility gardening knives. It's got a dial on the side for the degree of the angle you want. You could take that off though and just use this with a little practice and just run your knife down each side. This is the most coarse grit, but it's old and it's worn out, and I still want to show you what it's capable of. And the reason why is because if you're just maintaining good knives like this, don't touch the low grip belts. Just don't. Stay away from them. They will completely reprofile your edge and you'll be screwed. Your knife will change. It'll completely tear your tips down if you don't know what you're doing. And I'll show you what I mean. It's just a regular butter knife. As you can see, it's already profiling an edge on there. And then you work your way through the belts. I mean, after your knives are in good shape, especially if it's good steel, this is a real quick process. When you get home from being out in the bush or out in the field or a day at work, you just put one of the polishing belts on and go over it on each side 2 or 3 times, and your knife is pretty much good to go. You gotta watch and be careful that you're not doing the tip at a different angle, because you'll see it. Now, to get back to stropping, that's the last thing you want to do with your knife. Sometimes it's all you need. Like I said, once you have a really good edge, you can either go in the direction of using a strop, which is my preferred method, or a ceramic rod. And what you're pretty much doing is realigning. It's hard to explain what you're doing actually unless you look under a microscope. But after you use a knife, the steel wears down at the finest edge on a microscopic level, and the molecules of the steel start coming through again. And when you're looking at it 400 times under a microscope, it kind of looks like a set of teeth on a jigsaw. And when you use something like a ceramic rod, what you're pretty much doing is realigning those teeth on a microscopic level, a very fine level. But this is the first strop I ever built. I took an old belt and a piece of hardwood, and I put one with the shiny side up on one side and one with the rough side on the other. I like using the rough side a lot, and I put it on this block of wood because I could lock it in a vise and have it raised above the vise, so my blade didn't touch the steel on the vise. You just give it a couple of these. You'll get a feel for the angle, you just have to do it. You're not going to ruin a knife with a strop. Same thing goes for your fixed blades. I like keeping them nice and sharp because if they're not sharp, what's the point of having them? And the same thing, you find the edge. You can start slow. You can kind of push it down with your fingertip and get it exactly on there, because the lower angle you go with the strop, the better it is. But after a while, you just kind of get a feel for it. You can incline it a little bit if you want to put more pressure on the very edge. They also make compounds to rub into a leather strop. The white and green compounds are really good, but as you can see, the edge was a little dirty. Just makes it nice and clean. Takes all the gunk and debris off the edge, polishes it up, and then you're good to go. And then when you're done, you get a little bit of honing oil. Put a couple drops on your knives if you're in a really humid area. I personally never do. I've never had a problem. But that was a little dirty too. You run it across the strap a couple of times. And I have learned that the rough side of the leather works much better than the shiny side of the leather. And that's pretty much where I've gotten in the evolution of the last 4 years of knives. Unless you have a really nasty chip or some kind of distortion to the blade, you really want to stay away from the coarse stuff, the coarse stones, and stick to a strop. This is the way to go right here. If you got a good knife with a good edge and you use your knife regularly when you get home from wherever you are, use a strop. I mean, this is my utility knife, as I've showed in a bunch of videos. I keep it tight, and every couple of days I strop it, and it keeps it nice and sharp. It's not a razor. It's got a little couple of catches in it, but it's a really rough utility knife. It's made to be beaten on. So, for your knife maintenance and your knife cleaning arsenal and your knife sharpening arsenal, you definitely want strops. This is the most important possible thing you could ever have for sharpening a knife, is a good leather strop. Honing oil, you just put a drop on your finger or rub it in. And another thing you're going to want, if you have a lot of knives, are one of these bad boys right here. This is the star tip. These are star tip and standard and metric. So everyone knows what they're for. You pretty much use them to keep your knife tight. When I start getting some play in my blade here, I just tighten that screw up right there and get it nice and tight. A couple of strops. Keep that nice low angle, because the better you're going to get it with a low angle, because you're hitting more surface area of the actual very edge. You can get quicker at it over time. You'll get better, but keep your knives sharp. Take care of them, and you won't have to go through such extremes as using an 80 grit belt on a work sharp. So, I'm Mike with Omega Outdoors. I hope that my experience can help somebody. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, thanks for watching.